Hey there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here I am in the car again, headed down to Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland for another new comic book day. Well, there are a lot of great books coming out this week, including the new Doom Academy #1. Can't wait to read that. But as I was looking over my list, it looked to me like a lot of things I want to pick up this week are going to be variant covers, things that I didn't pre-order when I put it in that pre-order list 2 to 3 months ago. So we're going to go down, take a look at everything. I'll film like normal, show off all the new books coming out this week, and then I'll come back home and bag and board anything I pick up, and we'll do a little show and tell. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, I just finished up here at Third Eye Comics, and I had a great time going through all the new comic books. Picked up a lot of great books, so I'm going to go home now, bag and board everything, and then we'll do a little show and tell. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, everybody, I made it back home after going to Third Eye Comics. All the new comics I picked up, I ended up bagging and boarding, so let's get right into this. I was most excited for Doom Academy this week. I wanted to see if it was going to be on the same level as Strange Academy. It is considered year 2 of Strange Academy, only now the school has been moved to Latveria, and of course under the supervision of Dr. Doom, now that it's one world under Doom. And I wanted to see if we're going to have some new characters. The original Strange Academy brought so many great new characters to the Marvel Universe. I want to see if we're going to get any of that here as well. So this is a book that is going to be ripe with first appearances, I'm pretty sure. But I wanted to go ahead and pick up an additional cover A. This is by Phil Lobos, and I wanted to go ahead and get this because I wanted to go ahead and read this at this point. But there was also one of the variants that I also wanted to pick up by Wu Chul Lee. This one right here, and this was a really nice, beautiful illustration. And I'll be honest, most of the books that you have in today's show, a lot of them will be these 1 in 100 variants, not the ones I picked up, but the ones you could still pick up at Third Eye. And these things are $24 to $50 a piece, and I honestly passed on most of those. If there's only one ratio variant in here that I ended up picking up, but these virgins like this, I did not pick those up. Honestly, I like them, but I don't like them well enough to put that kind of money into those books at this time. If I had been going to a signing, maybe, but there's no signing availability for a lot of these artists for me at this point, so I did not do that. I just have the regular trade dress covers. But this was a beautiful illustration right there. So I'm going to look forward to be able to read Doom Academy and see what that's like, and if it's as good as Strange Academy. I sort of doubt it. That was such a hit. That was such a great book by Scotty Young. I really loved that. But we'll see how this goes right here. Also, picked up the regular cover to the latest Spider-Man issue right here. This is issue number 68. This continues that 8 Deaths of Spider-Man that seems like it's been going on forever now. The storyline has been pretty good. What's weird is this is supposed to have been a Joe Kelly storyline, but it seems like more than half of the stories has been written by a different person. Who is writing this? Ireland? I don't know who that person is, but I've enjoyed it more than the last run on Spider-Man. The art's been fine. Again, I'm going to harp on the fact that I don't like Spider-Man into these sorcery, these fantastic storylines like this. He's much better as a street-level crime fighter, more of a science fiction type of thing, more real-world grounded type science fiction especially. But when he gets into the fantasy, I don't think that's where the character needs to be. It's been more enjoyable, as I said, than the previous storylines, but it is what it is. I'm looking forward to the new #1 coming out. We'll see if what's new is the same as the old, or if we're going to get something different at that point. We don't know yet, but stay tuned for that when that comes out here, probably in the next few months. All right, one book that should have been on my pre-order list, but had not been, and I think I just missed it because the schedule in this book seems to be really, really slow, and there's a lot of time in between books, and I cannot even remember when issue number 2 came out. But I did pick up regular cover to issue number 3 of Aliens versus Avengers, and I'm enjoying this. It is set in the future. You've got the Avengers, but they're old Avengers, and you've got the aliens, of course, from Sigourney Weaver, Alien, and it's a good mix. The art's really good. What's the artist's name? It's Ribic. Yeah, Assad Ribic is still doing the art on this. I think he did the art on that Internals miniseries as well that came out a couple years ago. Jonathan Hickman is still writing this. This has been kind of a quiet, really good book. I just wish it would come out on a regular basis. Let's get that story going and finished if that's what we're going to do. I also picked up, because I've enjoyed the artwork immensely, on the New Gods number 3 right here from DC Comics. The artist on that is Riccardo Federici. I don't know who that is, but the artwork in here is just fantastic. I will sit down. I'm continuing to read this book, and so I'm enjoying this, but I'm especially enjoying the artwork. Also, #1 this week, a new #1 was Zatanna. Seems like every few months we've got a new Zatanna book, covers coming out, and whether it's in Superman or Action Comics, going to her own mini-series book. I guess this is a regular title. This is just Zatanna. It's no subtitles or anything like that. I did not get cover A, and what's weird about that is the reason I didn't do it is all the books had a similar defect around one of the staples where it looked like a color rub, and yeah, it was there. It's definitely a printer error, but one of the other guys there who was looking at that book actually found one that did not have that printer defect there, and I went through the rest of them and I could not find it, so I just passed on cover A. But I was definitely, no matter what, whether I like this character or not, doesn't matter. This cover right here by Suzumika is fantastic. So I not only picked up the trade dress version, I picked up the foil version on this. This is not a ratio. Let me see if I can. It's not setting right. Let me see if I can show it to you. That's really pretty. I'm going to save both of these for hopefully a future signing with Suzumika at some point. If you guys follow the channel, you know that I actually got to see her down at Heroes Con 2 years ago, but I didn't know who it was. It was just as some of her Catwoman, Harley Quinn covers had just broke. They were hot, super hot. I didn't know who this person was, and I remember walking by the table, recognizing the name, and I didn't have anything at that point to get signed. But what I did notice was I didn't know who it was, and I should have looked her up, but there were a couple of different women standing there, but I didn't know which one was which. Neither one of them were signing, neither of them were doing any artwork, so I had no idea which one she was, so I didn't stop by the table. And I think she was supposed to be in Baltimore last year, but was a cancellation. So I've got a small pile of Susan Micah covers and books that I want to get signed at some point, just sort of piling up, waiting for that opportunity at this point. And those Zatannas will definitely be in that pile at some point. All right, ongoing book that I really enjoy right now has been G.I. Joe from Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley. And I've already got this pre-ordered, the regular cover. I've got the David Finch cover pre-ordered. But what I didn't pre-order was the one ratio variant that I did pick up this week. This is a 1 in 10. It is a connecting variant by David Nakayama. And I've been continuing to buy the connecting covers from him since issue 1. And the thing I want to say about this is, what's nice about this is, unlike a lot of David Nakayama covers, which just uses a solid color background, these are full illustration backgrounds and everything included, and I just think they're really dynamic. The backgrounds, everything's fully illustrated, and I love this. I will have to sit down at some point and put all these connecting variants together. I'll have to find every one of them and put them together and see how it does go together, because I didn't realize it was a connecting variant until after about the 3rd issue, when I noticed on the New Comics This Week on the site where I was looking up everything, and it said it's a connecting variant. I'm like, really? It connects? I don't know that. I just know they were beautiful illustrations, but now I'm going to have to find them and put them together. All right, so then that drops me down to the theme for the last round of books. This week it seemed like we had a lot of books illustrated with variant covers by Mark Brooks in an animated Marvel style, more like a Disney style if you ask me. And what's funny is most of these books were not going to be books that I was going to pick up. In fact, I did not get the regular covers on any of these. A lot of these are X-Men books, and I have dropped most of the X-Men titles at this point. But this week, I ended up picking up a handful of them. And let's start with Storm, number 5. And as you can see, we've got a Disney style, animated style right here of Forge and Storm. I picked up Exceptional X-Men. And you've got Kitty Pryde and, I'm sorry, Call Her Kate. It's like, screw that. She's still Kitty Pryde to me. And Emma Frost, the White Queen right there. I had to get this. X-Force, you got Betsy Braddock and Rachel Summers right there in her Phoenix outfit. I always loved that outfit. That was a great design. And there's no way I could pass up Uncanny X-Men number 10 right here with Rogue and Gambit. I mean, in fact, that was the first one I did pick up out of this batch. And I'm running out of room. And I did pick up the last X-Men book I picked up with the Mark Brooks animated covers right here was X-Factor right here. This is X-Factor number 7. You got Rogue. You've got Polaris and Havoc. And then the non-X-Men book I picked up, and the last book I picked up this week was Incredible Hulk number 22. And this book right here, I may go back and end up buying the rest of these Incredible Hulk issues. This is number 22. Philip Kennedy Johnson's been writing this since the new story, the new book has started. I got him to sign issues 1, maybe, and a couple of issues number 1 when he was in the store. It was only a few issues in at that point, maybe about 6 issues in. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't really, I don't know, there was something about the art style that I just didn't like, so I kind of passed on it. But after meeting Philip Kennedy Johnson, I'm going, what a nice guy. He ended up signing a bunch of books for me. And I ran into him again at Baltimore Comic-Con later last year, where he signed some of the Aliens books that he had written. And I was going, I talk about giving some of these writers, especially the writers and even the artists, a chance after getting a chance to meet them in person. And I started reading some of this. I was going through this book and thumbing through it, and I'm going, wow, this Nick Klein artwork in there is super scary. And I'm going to have to go, and I think I'm going to have to go back and buy a few more of these back issues. Next time I'm on a comic show and I go through the dollar bins and I can see if I can find some recent back issues of The Incredible Hulk by Philip Kennedy Johnson, I think I'm going to have to find that. I'm not going to go out there and pay full cover price. I think I'm going to have to go out there and try to find them in dollar bins because I don't know how popular they are, but you got to give them credit. I mean, that's 2 years, almost 2 years on one of the major Marvel characters right now, and it's been doing really good. And I am a fan of Philip Kennedy Johnson. I think he's on the ongoing Batman and Robin series from DC, and I just recently picked up a couple issues of that to read that. I've been hearing great things about that. So good for him, good for Philip Kennedy Johnson. I think that's really cool. So that's a book that I probably will go back and check out now. Anyway, guys, that is it for this week. The one book that I did not pick up was Ultimate Wolverine. I'd already pre-ordered several of those books, and I didn't feel like buying duplicates of that at this point. And there were some other great books this week that I still didn't pick up. They were all pre-ordered. But these are the books that I picked up this week. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments section what books you picked up this week at New Comic Book Day. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoy this kind of content, definitely hit that like, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any of the shows that I put out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to sit down and go read some of these books right now before work. I'll see you for the next show. Until then, remember, every comic has a story.